Hey guys.
Hey there.
Do I sound like Goofy?
Yeah, actually. That was good.
Thanks. So here we are with another episode for you.
January, again, is family. So this episode is going to be related to that.
Mm-hmm.
But first, how was your week, Kirsten?
It was good. I watched a movie in a movie theater. How about you?
What a coincidence. I watched a movie in a movie theater as well.
Which theater did you go to?
AMC?
Oh, have you ever been to the Los Feliz theater?
Yes, and I'm jealous. I know that's where you went, right?
Yeah.
I knew
Why
it.
didn't you go to that one? Because it's
Because
closer.
I pay for the monthly AMC thing, so technically...
Why do you... Why are you paying for that? You don't go to movies that often.
Well, you go to one movie a month and it pays for itself. A ticket's like $18 there.
Yeah, well, the Los Feliz theater was $25 for 2 tickets.
What?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I have always wanted to go there, and I knew the movie I wanted to see was playing there because they usually only have like 2 movies at a time.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really small.
Yeah, so I never want to see a movie that's playing there, but this time I did. But I had to get my money's worth out of my AMC membership, so...
I feel, yeah.
I ended
Sometimes
up going.
The AMC is really nice sometimes because it's got the like reclining seats.
Yeah, this one didn't, but it was very comfy. Regardless,
Was it spacious?
It was spacious. Yes, yes. And they have the freestyle drink machine, and we always make a Diet Mr. Pibb
Yummy.
vanilla with strawberry.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's really good.
That's fun. Yeah, this doesn't have anything fancy like that, but we did make a special concoction of popcorn. So you get the popcorn in the bag, but we asked for a separate tray. Pour the popcorn in there and dump 2 bags of M&Ms.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you get the melty M&Ms because the popcorn's warm. And it's all mixed up and
That sounds good.
it's delectable.
I never did that before.
Well, that's an option.
Cool.
For next time.
What movie did you see?
Poor things.
That is what I saw also.
Wow.
I know.
What a coincidence.
I know. What'd you think of it?
I really liked it. So here's the thing. When I, like, in the beginning, my thought was, is this problematic? Because they use the R word, and then I'm like, there's that whole issue of people that don't have mental illnesses
Right.
playing someone with mental illness.
That's exactly what I was thinking too in the beginning.
But then my mind changed.
Yeah, mine
because
did too.
I kind of realized it's not that.
It was
like,
a different
she's not
situation.
mimicking any kind of disorder.
Yeah.
It's literally,
it's its
so
own
different.
situation.
Yeah.
Like very,
Yeah.
very
Very
specific like thing. But I thought that too, and I let the R word slip because it was of the time period.
Yeah. But also the funny thing is it's like a period piece, but not really because it's so
like modern.
fantasy.
It's like modern.
The way they cuss too is
Yeah.
not like how they would talk back then, I don't think. And the way they're dressing, like the way she dresses is really interesting.
I loved her.
She wears like the short
wardrobe.
shorts and the short skirts, but then like the
puffy
fluffy
sleeves. I
tops.
love the wardrobe.
Yeah, it's so
I
cute.
loved it. I would wear that. And yeah, the visuals were beautiful. Like, we don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
Because I went into it not really knowing what it was
Yeah,
about.
same. I'd only
And-
seen like part of I didn't even watch the whole trailer.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I
And
just
I didn't think I would
only
like
saw
it.
the part of her like dancing. The dancing
Me
part.
too. And I was like, I don't really know what this is about. I do like Emma Stone though, but I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And
Or-
she was naked a lot.
Yeah, that I thought was interesting because I don't think that she's done. Well, I don't know. I might just be speaking out of my ass, but I don't think that she's really done nude scenes like that.
I didn't think
They
she
like
had
show her
either.
bush. Spoiler.
Which it might not even be real. It could just be
Yeah.
a merkin.
Like-
To cover
Oh my god, it could be. Yeah.
a merkin. It probably was a merkin because then it covers her vajayjay
Yeah.
at the same time. But I was surprised at how much nudity there was, especially
Yeah.
from her.
Yeah, somebody who's such a big celebrity. Like, you don't see
Yeah.
that. I wonder if either they paid her a ton of money or if she was like, I think it's an artistic film, so I feel like it
Yeah.
does it tastefully, but it's also kind of grotesque in a way.
It
too.
is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was sitting there like through the first half, like this is the weirdest movie
It is super weird.
I have seen in a long time.
Have you ever seen Big Fish?
I remember when it was like a movie, like a thing.
I don't know. I haven't seen it like since it
But
came
I think
out.
I saw that when I was like in middle school.
Yeah, I watched it in theaters during that time. And for some reason, it gives me the same feeling, like the same kind of whimsical feeling. But I would have to watch it again to really confirm that.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Did you feel like it looked like Midjourney?
Midjourney.
Midjourney, the AI
Oh,
art app.
I didn't think about that. No.
Well, I thought the ship, especially,
Yeah, with the
lot
green
of, like,
smoke.
a lot of like the background elements looked like they were created with AI.
Well, they might have been.
Specifically Midjourney.
They might have.
And the way that she talked sounded like AI.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it was like futuristic, but also the past.
Yeah. It was a really interesting movie. I have not been that entertained in a long time,
Yeah.
too. Like, I was
It was a long movie, but I was fully entertained the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't think, like, when is this over? I thought Mark Ruffalo's character was so good.
He was hilarious.
He was so funny. Like,
He
everything
usually
about
doesn't
him.
play like a
I
bad guy,
know.
too. So
I know. And
interesting to see him
he's
in
the
that role.
Hulk. You know? Like,
yeah.
I just am used to him in that role, but...
Oh, I'm used to him in 13 going on 30.
Oh, I forgot he was in that.
That's just like what I remember him as.
That's so
like
funny.
The,
That's so
the
random.
love interest from 13 going
That's
on
so
30.
funny. Yeah, well, I used to think he was so fine.
Yeah.
And he still is. He's cute.
He's a cutie.
He's a cutie. But his character was so funny and he did it so well.
Yeah.
I was like laughing so much at him.
He had some character arches.
He did.
There was some growth. There was some decline.
It was
Yeah.
just funny all around. My favorite part of the movie is just like the women empowerment part of it.
It was cool because it felt like it was I don't
Made
even
for
know.
us.
Yes.
It was made for us.
me. But it felt like, it looks like from their outfits they're in the 1800s, but
Mhm.
then there's some radical elements to it.
Yeah, it
and-
makes me think it's like another dimension where like it is old but it's also modern.
I like that. I love it when they do that. Like Shrek.
Yeah.
But that's different, but yeah.
Like
Somebody wants.
All right.
So, we watched that movie. It was a good movie. Highlight of the week.
Yeah, I haven't actually stopped thinking about it since I saw it.
Yeah, I mean,
love
it's
it.
fresh on my brain because I saw it last night. Oh, so there's also.
Oh.
Do I tell the?
Yeah,
so
go
there
ahead.
was on our way back. We were walking. We were scootering back on the Lime
Oh.
scooters, and Langston stops and he's like, "Was that a fire?" And there's like smoke coming from this building, and I'm like, I don't know, like maybe it's just like some smoke, like chimney or something.
Mhm.
So I'm like ready to
Let's
leave.
keep going.
Yeah. But Langston's like, no, I think it's a fire. And it's like a small apartment building, like 2 stories. Maybe it would have been like 6 units tops,
Mhm.
but it's abandoned and it like all the windows are boarded up. So like I don't really like visibly see any fire, but then we see this guy like run out
Oh shit.
and he's like, "Did you guys call the fire department?" And we're like, "Oh shit." And Langston's like, "Are you okay?" And then I look up and there's like a outdoor staircase leading up to the door,
Mhm.
and in the doorway you can see like flames.
Oh,
Just
okay.
like visibly lots of flames. And so the guy runs off. I call the
Probably
cops.
the one who started it.
I think 100% he
like
was.
he had to be.
100%, and that's why he was running off because
It's abandoned. Like, what are you?
Yeah.
What else is
he
gonna
was cooking
catch?
meth or something. And apparently this wasn't the first time that this place has caught fire. Like
Mhm.
one of the neighbors was saying it, and anyway, so I call the cops. Langston hops the fence because it's a fence. He hops the fence and like goes up the stairs and goes and like calls out. Like
Mhm.
he's not able to like walk in, but he like pops his head in.
Yeah.
And then I'm like on the phone with the operator or whatever, and I just hear like a like a kind of like plat, like
Oh.
an explosion sound.
Ah!
And I'm like, "Langston, get the fuck down!" And he gets down, and the police come, or the not the
Fire-
police, the fire
fire-
department comes.
Well, yeah,
And,
and I was actually sitting on the road when those firefighters came, and I saw the trucks go by, and there were so many, and like the big truck was there too, and I was like, stop, and I was like, oh man, this must be a big ass fire, because there's a lot of these fire trucks, and that's where they were going.
Yes.
But I didn't know that until I talked to you.
And it was really crazy because the fire trucks came really, really quickly, but then I'm watching the flames just like get bigger and bigger, and I'm like, oh shit, is it gonna like catch the neighboring building on fire? Because it was getting that big. It was like starting
big.
to come out of the windows that were boarded up, and I was like, oh my god. And they got there so quickly, but they were taking like it felt like forever to like set up. I was like, firemen, get with it.
Come on. Oh my god. Yeah, it got big. I saw the video. It was wild.
I think that might have been my first time doing a 911 call.
Ooh.
I was kind of nervous. I was like, I wasn't ready to like give the address, and I was like, hold on, I don't know what street we're on. I'm like looking up the address on my phone.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, I'm calling to report a fire, and she's like, what do you see? And I'm like, I visibly see fire.
Visibly?
I don't know. She's like, where's the fire coming from? And I'm like, it's just visibly fire and smoke like in the building. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Just bring the fire.
Yeah, just get them here, because this shit's crazy. Well, I'm glad everyone was okay, and I'm glad the man cooking meth got away without dying.
Yeah, I'm glad too. I really hope there was nobody else in there, but I don't think he would have left them. Yeah. Like Langston said, he was like grabbing his stuff, like he was kind of like moving slower than he should have been grabbing his stuff. So I don't think there's anybody else in there. We're talking. We got a subject.
We do. And it relates to family.
Because January is Famuary. Today, we're talking about sibling order or birth order. And I'm Kirsten.
I'm Allie.
And you're listening to Thank You So Much. So yeah, sibling order, birth order.
Sibling order theory.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everybody, it's kind of like a buzzword these days.
Yeah, but it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
I think they learn it in psychology.
Yeah. I feel like I probably learned about it in psychology class in high school. I don't really remember, but I think I'm just interested in psychology, so I just know that like it's bopping around.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts with this guy.
What's his name?
Old dude, Alfred.
Old Alfred.
Old Alfred Adler. Which, like, what a name.
Alfred Adler.
What a name.
Yeah.
So he was a psychotherapist he was born in 1870 to 1937. So he's kind of like the turn of the century. Freud was one of his mentors. Mm-hmm. He was a colleague, but then he did a little offshoot from his theories to make his own theories. His branch of psychology is called Adlerian psychotherapy.
Adlerian psychotherapy. His theory claims that the order in which the child is born shapes their personality.
That is what he believed. And his like whole thing is about he wanted to help people get along with their family and friends. He valued the role of cooperation and connectedness to the world around each person. So he's like really about community, basically. Okay, this is not related, but we like Alfred.
Okay, tell us why.
Because he was really into social inequality. We're like, against it. He sees it as a disease that harms population, social inequality.
Okay, that's true. He's right.
He was like a big advocate for women's rights and children's and other marginalized groups. He was all for equal pay for women in the workplace.
Hey, Alfred,
and this is like 1870 to 1930. Like he was ahead of his time.
He's a white man?
He looks white in the pictures.
Okay.
He's Austrian.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They're white people. We like him.
We love that.
One other fun fact that I have about him is that he coined the term inferiority complex.
Oh, we love that.
Yeah.
We love that.
Yeah.
Alfred is our man, dude.
And then after Alfred, we have another important person in this birth order theory is Frank Soloway. I saw his name a lot. And he is still alive. He was born in the 1940s, I want to say. I think it's like 1947. So he's an old man, but he is still alive, and he's an adjunct professor, or visiting professor, I should say, at Berkeley. He's a psychologist. And he has this book called Born to Rebel that he wrote in
Sounds
1996.
like me.
He knows us.
I was born to
Yes.
rebel.
So he, he believed in the birth order theory, and he's done a lot of research studies. Like I've seen, I haven't read them all, but I saw his name pop up a lot. So he's been doing research from the 90s until now. The last one I saw was 2017.
Dang, he's still going.
He's still going, but he likes to relate it all to the big 5 personality traits, which we discussed in our personality episode.
Yeah. But what are they in case?
Agreeableness, openness to experience. So you're like either high or low on the spectrum. Agreeableness, openness to experience, neuroticism, conscientiousness, and extroversion. I do want to say that with a lot of this, there's some inconsistent evidence.
It's not going to fit every single family
Yeah,
or every person.
I think there's not enough like complete evidence to totally prove the theory, but there are a lot of correlations. So in any case, he says that on the agreeable scale, firstborns are less agreeable.
I'm a firstborn.
Laterborns appear to be more agreeable than firstborns in the sense that they're more tender-minded, accommodating, and altruistic.
Oh, well.
So
I
that
would
would be
say
me.
that's true for my brother.
So if you guys didn't know, Allie and I both have brothers. Allie has a younger brother by 3 years, right? And I have an older brother by 3 years. So similar but different.
Yeah. So I have to say that at least that part is very true for me.
So you think that your brother is more agreeable than you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about me and my brother. For that one specifically, inconclusive.
Okay. Conclusive data. It's fine. It's fine.
The next one is open to experience. Laterborns are more open to experience, it says. And I would agree with this.
See, I wouldn't.
Wow. See, I'm the one out of Indiana, and so are you. You're out of your home state of West Virginia. So it's like we both are the more open to experience.
Yeah, because
seems
both
like,
of our siblings are still over in the homeland.
In the homeland, yeah. So it's true for me, not for you. Next is conscientious, which I know without even reading it myself, low on the conscientious factor.
Okay.
Because I have ADHD. Like, I'm not conscientious. I'm not paying attention. That's for certain.
I think that my brother is less conscientious than I am. I will say that.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Huh.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a dude
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know your brother that well. I met him once, but he's a nice guy.
He's nice.
So, yeah. So this is saying that firstborns are more conscientious. So
Okay.
that rings true for both of our families.
Yeah.
Then we have neurotic, which I don't know if I'm neurotic. I feel like you might be.
You think I'm neurotic?
Yeah. Well, neurotic could mean a lot of different things, I guess.
No,
but
I think I'm neurotic.
just because you have a tendency towards like anxiety. I do too, but like in a different kind of way.
Yeah. What's it say? The
It
older
says
one
the
is?
firstborns are more neurotic
Okay,
than
that's
laterborns.
that's 100% true for me.
I think this is true for me too. I'd like to get my brother on and see what he thinks.
Yeah.
But. And then the final one is extroverted. Firstborns tend to be more extroverted
That's
than
true.
laterborns. I don't know. I think like with me and my brother, it's been different in different times of our lives. I think in general I'm more extroverted actually. So, but he was more popular in high school.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think I'm more extroverted, but my brother knows how to talk to people.
Agreeableness.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, he's still like extroverted, but me being older in our hometown, I was like going out first before him. So now every time he goes places, everyone's like, "Hey, you're Allie's brother." And he's like, "I'm not Allie's brother. I'm Colin.
I'm my own person."
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that way in elementary school with my brother because I would have teachers after him. You're Reed's sister. But I don't know, because we were so far apart that in school it wasn't that prominent. I feel like
Same with me and my brother. because
we weren't that far. We were 3 years apart, but
yeah. Well, me and my
like-
brother were 3 years apart, but he got held back in first grade.
so did my brother.
What?
Literally in first grade. Well, they both had dyslexia.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was really like we were 4 years apart because
Hmm.
you know he was younger than me.
So yeah, that's basically Frank Soloway's like analysis of the big five personality theory as it relates to birth order. Then we can talk about like the general consensus of what people say birth order traits are. We break it up into 4 types. We have
Mhm.
like the first child, middle child, and then last child
And then
and
only
only
child.
child.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the oldest child, I'll take this one
Yeah.
since I am the oldest
you.
child.
That's
Of course, if you're the firstborn, you have your parents all to yourself for a number of years. For me, it was 3 years. I don't
But you probably don't
remember
Yeah.
that, but still, I'm sure like as a little baby, I was like, I'm spoiled. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. They tend to dole more attention onto you because you're their first child. It's a big deal. They're really careful with you, like with safety and getting bumps and bruises. And I think that's true. I think my parents like babied me a little too much when I was little because I would fall down and scrape my knee and then be like, I can't walk. I'm like, Dad, carry me. I can't
Although
walk.
I think the gender and this is something that I didn't look into as much, but I kind of like heard whisperings about is like gender definitely plays a role in that.
Yeah, I actually
And,
got some info on that.
yeah, like for me being like the youngest girl and you being the oldest girl, I feel like it's different, but it's also like you were treated as a woman would be treated or
Yeah.
as a little girl would be treated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it says that your parents might expect a lot from you because you're the oldest. They might be stricter with you, which is so true because I remember my mom was so strict on me about everything, like what movies I can watch and stuff like that, what music I can listen to. And then when my brother comes along, I'm like, how come he's watching a PG-13 movie when he's 7? You know what I mean? I'm like,
'Cause
that's
they were
not
like,
fair.
well, you turned out fine.
I know, I'm like, you didn't make, like, you made me wait until a certain year, and here
Yeah.
you are, like, you don't care if he does it. So
Well, that's how I felt too, but maybe I was just not paying attention. Well, I didn't know what it was like for
Yeah.
my brother.
Yeah. So my parents were definitely stricter with me than they were my younger sibling. And studies show if you're the eldest child, you tend to demonstrate leadership skills. Maybe you have a leadership role in the workplace.
That's true.
Or you're rising to the top of your industry. And
Girlfriend, that's you.
that's me. And I think I am kind of a leader. Like,
Definitely you are.
so
Yeah.
that makes sense for me and my brother.
Yeah, I think that for me it says the firstborn is a go-getter, responsible. I think you are. Like despite your type B personality, you are like responsible and like you get shit done.
Yeah, well, I mean, my work ethic, I think, is responsible
Yeah.
for sure
Yeah.
because I was taught that. But yeah, and going into like the genders, my brother was treated as the responsible one by my grandma.
Huh.
Like, he was the baby of all the
Huh.
cousins, but in my dynamic with him and her, he was treated as the one that like has his shit together because he went to college
Oh.
and stuff. And my grandma would always worry about me. And then one day my dad was like, you know what? I don't worry about Allie at all. I worry about Colin. Like, I'm not worried about Allie at all. And then
Allie moved across the country.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
she's fine.
and once I did that, I think my grandma like respected me a little bit
Yeah.
more as a person who is responsible and can take care of herself. But she was always very much of the thought like you need a man to protect you and live with you
Mhm.
and keep you safe. And you know, like she
Just
didn't
very
take
like old-fashioned beliefs
yeah,
about it.
she didn't take my career seriously as a hairstylist. Like it was very much.
I don't think she realizes how much money a hairstylist can
Yeah,
make. Like
yeah.
you can make bank. Like
Yeah.
if you're working for like high profile clients, like you
Mhm.
can make a lot of money.
yeah,
Even
and-
at like normal salons in LA.
yeah.
Like maybe not other states, it's not as lucrative. But like
Yeah.
here in LA, basically
can-
any salon, you're
Yeah.
making some money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I thought that was interesting when I was reading about gender roles because I did read that even if the boy is younger, sometimes he gets treated as like the man of the house
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
the oldest almost in a way. And I don't think my parents treated us like that, but my grandma definitely did.
Well, also just like seeing you and your brother, like your brother is bigger and taller and
Yeah.
like more manly and just like doesn't look older, but like
Like if you had to
dominates a
get,
room more and
yeah,
like in that kind of like traditional gender role
yeah,
sense
yeah.
of
But it's funny because
things
I feel like verbally, I
would dominate the
I
room more.
dominate the room
Yeah.
more, and I tell him what to do. So, like I'm very much an older
Yeah.
sister.
Yeah.
Like I'm very much an older sister. But
That's true. What else you guys
yeah, he's always looked older than me because of his beard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've always been small and
Petite is a tiny little
The-
petite
a
girl.
pete.
The baby.
Yeah.
So the next is the middle child, which neither of us can relate to,
Mm-hmm.
but my partner is a middle child. So
My cousin, who's my sister, basically is a
Yeah.
middle child, and we're very close.
yeah, so they always talk about like middle child syndrome.
Yeah, child syndrome. And my cousin did have that, like, bad.
Yeah, like the idea just that the middle child is often forgotten because the family was focused on the first child, when the
Mhm.
first child came.
Mm-hmm.
Middle child comes and then baby, we're focused on baby.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of get thrown to the side
Yeah.
a little bit.
Their traits are supposed to be adaptable, social butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Langston, like social butterfly, dreamer, generous, creative, rebellious, competitive,
Mhm.
funny,
That's all my cousin.
negotiator. Yeah, so I think it definitely runs true for Langston. That makes sense for a middle child. They have to be a little bit independent
Mm-hmm.
because they're not getting as much attention from
Yeah,
their parents.
And out of all the traits of oldest, middle, youngest, the middle child is the one that makes the most sense to me. Like, I feel like every
Yeah.
middle child, not every middle child, but I feel like that is such a strong trait. Like,
Mm-hmm.
middle children, this is very true.
But
for
it's
them.
funny because they get forgotten in the family, but they end up being stars. Like they're creative, they're competitive, they're funny, they're
Yeah.
negotiators,
Yeah.
And in the real world they end up, and maybe it's because they had
They had to.
to like
Work
be
harder, like-
independent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I have something that relates to that later, too. Is there anything else about middle?
Well, I can go a little deeper with it. They're highly invested in getting on well with others. They have experience negotiating for what they need in the family.
Mm-hmm.
Then, the family expands and then they become an older sibling
Mm-hmm.
and then their role changes.
Yeah.
So, like, they go from, like, being the youngest to being an older sibling. And
Yeah.
so, like, they're adaptable to change.
Mm-hmm.
And,
That makes
yeah.
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, the next is the youngest child,
adapt me.
and that's you. So you can tell me if this is true, but as the baby, you tend to take one of two paths,
Oh.
according to our friend Alfred. The first path is a clear journey to success, where you excel, you become the go-to person in the family, but you can also become avoidant if you don't have the drive to excel. You might have freedoms that your older siblings did not have. As your parents' rules become more relaxed, your parents can be more hands-off with you. You're usually assured of your place in the family, and you can be very creative, rebellious, and outgoing.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, that's all true for me. And I think those one of two ways in my 32 years of life have manifested in different times in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see the traits that I listed were risk taker, outgoing, dependent, persistent, fun loving, charming, easygoing, free spirited, spoiled. Like, my family does describe me as free spirited.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I'm spoiled. Spoiled is a weird word because, like, I think of you have to be rich, but I think that I could be spoiled in a certain way
Mhm.
of knowing that I always have two places to fall back on,
Mm-hmm.
like my brother's older. And I don't want to think that way, but I think I do always in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, like if shit hits the fan, if shit really hits the fan, like if my mom's not there, I have my brother,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as like a baby child.
A little baby
Little
child.
baby girl. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, For my brother, I mean, I already said that I feel like he had more freedom than I had, but I also got in trouble a lot. So, and he
Yeah.
learned from that and didn't get in trouble as much as I did.
Me and my brother both got in trouble, not equally, but in different ways. We both got in trouble, actually.
Mm.
So I don't really know, like, who got in trouble more. My brother maybe got in trouble more, but it's also, like, Indiana as fuck. So,
Yeah.
like, I think we were just fucked over, both of us, by the system of Indiana. I think it's worse than West Virginia.
I don't
like,
know.
Indiana is crazy.
West Virginia's crazy.
I don't know. I feel like West Virginia is, like, a little bit, like, more outlandish in the way that's, like, against the law a little bit. It's like we're in the we're in the hills, like we're,
I see what you mean.
you know,
we're making moonshine.
Yeah. But I feel like Indiana is like
Straight
we're
and
patriots.
narrow. Oh no!
Like we're Christians and we're patriots and we live by the
could
law.
See that.
And no smoking weed ever. You go to jail
I
for
could
a
see
long
that.
time. Like,
Meanwhile, hillbillies are out there doing pills and moonshine.
well, the meth capital of the country for sure was in Indiana for a while, and I don't know if it still is, but
we're the heroin,
the heroin
the
capital.
heroin state.
But
of
it
the world.
might be different now. You know,
I don't
it
know.
might, like, I'm basing it off of the statistics that I knew, like, when I was in my 20s. So
Yeah.
it's different now.
Who knows?
But well, now fentanyl's on the scene. So fentanyl, I feel like, is like changing everything,
Yeah.
and people are dying rapidly, and it's out of control.
It made me stop doing drugs. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it made me want to, like, really test that shit.
I'm just kidding. I test it.
Yeah. I got fentanyl strips in my fucking medicine cabinet.
Nice.
And I don't even do drugs like that.
I
But I'm like,
know.
I'm going to keep that shit in there in case.
Yeah, no, if you're gonna do drugs, kids, just kidding. Adults over 18, if you're gonna do drugs, test that shit, please.
Anywho, finally, we have. So, yeah, you talked about the youngest children, the only children, and I just have a bullet point list here.
Okay.
They say that they're mature, loyal, independent, confident, leader, cautious. So I feel like they're a lot like
Oldest.
Oldest, yeah, in personality traits, and it makes sense because the oldest, and it depends on the family, but often was the only child for some time.
That's true.
Yeah.
My partner is an only child,
And
I always, no offense, only children out there, but I'm always like, oh, you can tell you're an only child.
Are they spoilt?
No, they're not spoiled, but but my bullet point is that as an only child, you're surrounded by adults since birth. So when you go to kindergarten, that's like the first time you socialize with other children. You know, obviously you're gonna have like friends and stuff before that, but for the most part, you're surrounded by adults and you mimic their behavior and sometimes become like small people, as they say. Like you're, you know, like
so you're like kind of like seemingly more mature at a young age.
Yeah, which is interesting because I used to always think only children were selfish and sheltered and like just different.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
and
yeah, that's like the stigma stereotypes for them for sure.
they're not used to sharing. They're not used to sharing clothes, space, parental attention. Like and you know, it's funny, my partner all the time is like, I'm glad I didn't have like a brother because we'd probably be competing all the time and stuff.
Yeah.
But they say that they're very intelligent, creative, but also very stubborn and set in their ways. Which I think
that makes sense. Yeah, because they never had to adjust to anybody else, so they probably always had their own room. Never had to share.
Not always true.
It's not always true, and this is like because generalizations.
Maybe
like
they share with their parent, but
and it's also like the first part doesn't have to be true either. Like they could have had parents that like raised them with other kids, like maybe their parents had like really close kids that they saw all the time.
My cousin's only child has been raised with all of his cousins, so there's always kids around. They're all, you know, he's always like, part of that.
Some people are raised in army.
Yeah. But I mean, some kids, they don't have, for instance, Kadar doesn't have cousins because his mom's sister didn't have any kids.
Oh yeah.
So he didn't
So it's just his,
just
like
him.
just them two, like the mom and his mom's sister. Yeah. How many cousins do you have?
7 first cousins.
Oh, okay. I have
Wait,
5.
4? Yeah, 7 first cousins. 4 on my dad's side and 3 on my mom's side.
I have 5 on my mom's side.
That's a lot.
0 on my dad's, because my dad was an only child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my dad was an only child, but I don't know. Yeah, he seems like an only child, 100%.
Kadar does.
No, my dad.
Oh.
But Kadar does too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
So, now it's time for a break in the sequence.
We'll be right back after this segment.
After this segment.
Let's get deep.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Deep. So we're going to get deep. What was a moment in your life when you felt powerful?
I think that teaching a classroom of people feels powerful.
Yeah.
Like having your own class, I think maybe that gave me some power. Feeling like yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like being able to, and you know, I would have like a regular class for several months, and that felt powerful. Also, when I was doing girlfriends, felt powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When I was
You
bringing
were
people
powerful.
into the room.
Yeah, girl.
Together. I keep picking the same ones from last time. Like, literally, like, these are the same ones that I got last time. Do you believe that social media is helping or ruining the world?
Damn. I think it's both. I don't think it's helping the world. I think it's both because I think it's helping the world because we can easily stay in touch with people, which brings us closer to people. We can learn things faster.
That's true.
We can see other people's experiences easier.
Yeah.
We can be introduced to different people's lives. I'm thinking mainly TikTok.
Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking TikTok and, like, Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
Because that shit is not on the news.
No, we can see
Yeah.
that shit. Like, I think it's helping us in that way
Yeah.
because the media we can't trust, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting this real time information,
Like live information from citizens
From
of the world, like
citizens
just like
of the world. Yeah, so we can
people
see
that
what the fuck's
that
going
don't have
on.
any journalism like angle.
How else would they get their story out there?
Yeah.
So I think it's really, really helpful for that. But I do think there's aspects of it that could be ruining the world because anything that happens, people pull out their phone and record it.
Yeah.
And if it's negative, this stuff has always been happening, but now we get a front seat show to it.
Yeah, and it's like showcase to the world.
It's
for the rest
showcase to
of
the
your
world.
life.
Yeah, and I think that that's dangerous. And I also think bullying, like all the comments.
Yeah. I can't imagine, like, for us growing up it was bad, but I can't imagine what it's like for kids now.
Yeah, like being in
that's
middle school and
gotta
having
be
social media
crazy.
is insane, like, to me. And
Yeah.
my confidence would probably, I don't even know. Like, I don't know how kids deal with it these days.
It was already bad.
Yeah,
like,
but
during
it's
our
just,
time, but-
we're so used to seeing these people who we compare ourselves to, and for all we know it's photoshopped, or for all we know it's a fake life. Like, whatever they're showing us on social
Yeah,
media is
and
not
now
real.
you can, like, easily filter videos.
Yeah.
Like, that shit could be fake too.
Yeah,
Like,
and the suicide rate has gone up since social media has gotten bigger. And I think that part of it, like the nasty comments you see from people and that kind of thing, and also just when people record everything and even the negative things and you see it all the time, I feel like that has a negative impact on your mental health.
yeah.
Like, I opened Twitter the other day and I saw the word, like, I don't even want to tell you what I saw.
Huh.
But it was in Gaza, and
Yeah.
it ruined my whole day because I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, I did not want to see that. Like, I did not want to see that. And I'm glad I know about it. So that's where, like, the other side comes in. I'm glad I know what's going on. But at the same time, that one post that wasn't censored ruined my whole
day,
my mental health.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
so I think it's bad for mental health in a lot of ways. But I think it's also helpful in a lot of ways.
There's like a lot of tools for mental health on the internet
Yeah.
too. It's
Yeah.
so hard to say.
It's so
like,
complex.
Yeah.
You know.
There's so many layers.
But I do appreciate TikTok in the fact that you get to go into people's lives that you maybe otherwise would never see. Like,
Yeah.
I think about...
I like TikTok's like element of discovery, because I feel like with Instagram and most other social media, you're only looking at what you're following and like what's based off of your following.
Or like beautiful people.
Yeah.
And on TikTok, it's like
true. Yeah,
anyone can become famous on TikTok because of the content itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not because
it's low key creepy, like how the algorithm does it.
Yeah, it is. It is
like
creepy.
how you get it, but it does like expose you to like I'll get videos on my For You page with people with like less followers than me, and I have like no followers on, like, I don't know, like 30 followers. It'll be like somebody with like 50 views or something, and it's just like I'm looking at this girl in her room and I'm like, wow, I never would have met this person.
Yeah, like you get to see into so many different people's lives, even like the videos with the Down syndrome kids.
Yeah.
That are so endearing and beautiful, and you're like, oh.
Are you talking about that girl? There's this influencer that it's a girl, that's a lesbian girl that's maybe our age, and she has a Down syndrome sister that she takes care of.
Oh, no, but that's
speaking
that's
of
the
dissibling order, but
that's the stuff I'm talking about. Like you get to get a little glimpse into other people's lives, and
you learn from it.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then it's also there's funny stuff and informative stuff. So I don't know. I think it's a really complex issue.
So that's the end of our break part of the episode.
Welcome back. After our break.
So Allie and I both did case studies.
Mm-hmm.
Allie interviewed 2 of her coworkers. I've interviewed my partner very briefly.
Yeah. And for the most part, I think they fit with the theory of, all the different levels of siblings.
Yeah.
At least in my interview, they did. My one friend, she said that she's the youngest out of 3 sisters.
Okay.
And she felt like she got less attention growing up. She was definitely way more rebellious, more avoidant, which is what it says about them.
Yeah.
Her middle sister was very rebellious and competitive, which is very similar.
That's what they say, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the oldest is in a leadership role. She got all the attention. And my friend basically said like all of the description for the oldest child matches her sister. And then my other friend, she has 3 kids of her own, but she's also one of 4. So I was like, maybe, your kids are too young to even like determine yet. And she was like, no. She's like,
how old are they? The kids?
So I can't remember. I know one of them, the youngest, I think is 2. The middle is like 5, maybe 6.
That's old enough to like make some kind of guess.
And then the oldest is 9 or 10, maybe 11. I don't know. I'm sorry if you're listening to this. But she was saying how her oldest is way more anxious than the rest. She's really caring. She's definitely a leader. Her middle child is more of a rebel. And it was interesting when you were describing the middle child, you said that like they have to fend for themselves kind of, and they have to like
it's basically because they're in between like the first child got all the attention, and then they start to have to like take care of the younger child,
Yeah.
and then there's nobody to take care of them, basically, is the
Yeah.
thing.
And she was saying how the middle child of hers has to fend for himself, and the youngest is, in quotes, I'm quoting her, a little shit that doesn't have a care in the world.
Well, yeah,
I thought that was interesting because as you were saying stuff, I was like, oh, that's what she said. You know, she also says she's the youngest out of 4, and she got it super easy. Her the oldest sister had major anxiety, which they say about the older kid.
Yeah,
same. Like, that's true
I
for
think
me.
my brother does too.
Yeah, and she opted not to have kids because she raised all the other kids.
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
Yeah. The middle sister has completely separated herself from
The
family because nobody loves her. That's what she said. The youngest, or the third youngest, her brother, is the worst of them all because he was the only boy. He got babied and felt privileged and everything, but that kind of brings us to like the cultural aspect with the genders and stuff.
With gender roles, it definitely changes it.
Yeah, and I asked her about that, and she said, yeah, he definitely had priority over them, being the boy, so he kind of did get treated as the older one, even though he wasn't. Yeah, and she just said he's the worst. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is. Also, yeah, the gender part of it too. It's like having, well, you had a younger brother, but like in her case, he was the younger only boy out of 4, but not the youngest.
Right.
So
it's different. He's like kind of in the middle, but he's also the only boy, so that puts him in a different type of
realm
category.
Yeah, for sure. It's like society, and then also how your family treats them, and every family is different with gender, especially. And but yeah,
I was reading that it also depends on the age difference. Like anything 3 years apart and younger, it's like one way, and then if you're more than 3 years apart, it like has a whole different dynamic.
Yeah. Like even 4 years, 5 years, like really can. But you and your brother, like as far as year wise, like actual year wise, how many is it?
We're like 3 almost exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
His birthday's 2 weeks after mine.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
So you're really, really close. Are you the same star sign?
Oh no. I'm on the cusp of an Aries, and he is an Aries.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Pisces through and through.
Cusp isn't real.
I know, but just to let you know how close I was to being an Aries.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm a Pisces through and through.
I hope you guys like that. Let us know if you agree with what we talked about with the sibling order. Do you feel like you and your siblings meet those dynamics? Do they not? Is it all bullshit? Is there something real to it? What do you think?
I also want to hear if like it's completely wrong. I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Like if it's like,
if you're like, no,
I'm the youngest and I'm the one with anxiety, or I'm the one who da-da-da-da.
We want to hear from you.
We do. We always want to hear from you, our valued listeners.
For me, like I really resonated with it.
Me too.
Who knows? Somebody out there?
It's just a theory.
Yeah, it is just a theory. And there, like, again, there's a lot of different studies on it, but there's not enough evidence on like each one to be like, yes, this is true.
And it's hard to nail down personality traits, I feel like.
Right. Well, it's nature.
Because people are very, very complex.
Exactly.
So no one really fits into a box.
Yeah.
So.
Especially us.
We are so out of the box and unique.
Out of the box girly pops.
We're not
2
basic.
girls and a podcast. Have you ever listened to 2 cool, quirky girls in a podcast? Bet you haven't.
Yeah, and here we are for you.
Here we are. So that was today's episode.
Stay tuned for next week.
Yeah, I think next week is the week that we actually have to edit the episode with your brother, which is good timing because we've been talking about your brother this week. So
yeah, and it'll
be fun.
Stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. and theys, gays, and girlies. That's what
The
I
girls, the gays, the theys, and I guess the he, hims.
meant. And the gentle people.
All of you.
All of the people that exist. Thank you for joining us this week, and stay tuned for next week.
Thank you so much. Love
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Mwah.